It's Ranger Russ from the Meigs Point Nature Center. I am out and about today at another state park. I don't know if you can hear the echo, but I am standing in a tunnel. I can't bring the camera very far in because I'll lose reception. But this is one of the tunnels, one of the train tunnels at Gillette Castle State Park. This was owned by William Gillette, and he had a train that would come through here. So many of the trails here at the castle are the old train beds where the tracks would have been laid and he would have driven his trains around here at the camera. That's the trail that will be going down. But if you look in here, there's the tunnel, okay? Now, William Gillette was very interested in trains. That was one of his fascinations, was with trains. And he actually used to really enjoy scaring his guests. When he would take them out on the train, he would go really fast. It was a small scale train, so don't think full-size train. Small scale train. People really couldn't sit side by side on the train. You would sit in a single file. He was in the front, and he would have gone very quickly, and he liked to get the train going very fast and scare the people. Some of the guests that he had ride on the train with him were Mark Twain and President Herbert Hoover, both rode the train. Some people enjoyed it, and other people thought that William Gillette was going to kill them. So he was always fascinated with trains growing up. He's from Hartford. He was the son of a U.S. senator and the grandson on his mother's side. His grandfather was one of the founders of Hartford. So he's from that's the Hooker family. So it's really cool. He's a local guy. He made his money doing, by here. He made his money as an actor and was able to purchase the trains. He also had a boat which actually burned and sank right down on the Connecticut River. We're gonna get to look down on the Connecticut River when we get to the end of this trail here. So as we go along, I'll see if we can point out some things. Looks like we've got some fern popping up on the side here. So some of the other parks I visited, the ferns were only fiddleheads. These ferns are out really, really nicely. I think those are cinnamon ferns. Cinnamon ferns are called that not because they smell like cinnamon, but because their stems, when they get older, this will get a nice cinnamony color. And I have a hard time telling when they're this small, so we'll have to wait till they get larger. We'll wait till they get larger, and then we'll be able to tell if it gets that cinnamony stem. So we've got some really cool trees here at the park. There's that American beech. I think we talked about the American beech when I visited Chatfield Hollow State Park. This is one of the things that I hate about the American beech is people love to carve because it's such a smooth bark, so they scar the tree. And there have been trees at some parks that have died because so much carving in them. This one, it looks like most of the carving is healing up, but still, please, this is one of the worst things you can do to a tree, especially in a state park. We have a leave no trace policy where you leave nothing but footprints and take nothing but photos. I wish people would just take pictures of these trees instead of scarring the trees. Look at the size of this oak tree. That is a beautiful white oak. It's a giant tree. Look at that thing. Okay. When the English first started coming to Connecticut, they would take these trees. Actually, any tree over a certain size, at one point, any tree over, and I don't know what that size was declared property of the King of England, because these trees were used in the building of ships. So they say the white oak was one of the causes, one of the pushing factors that led to the Civil War. Somebody says, great place to picnic here at Gillette Castle. It is. I don't think we're going to be passing one of the picnic areas, but right now all of the picnic tables have been picked up at our state parks. We're trying to reduce the gathering and increase social distance, so we have removed the picnic tables from the parks. I'm also going to say, if you come to the castle and the gate is closed or the parking lots are full, just find another park. There's Devil's Hop Yard is right around the corner from here. Be a great place to go instead of trying to fight the crowds at one of the parks that are full. So, and if Gillette Castle and Devil's Hop Yard are full, you can go to Nahantec State Forest. So plenty of options, plenty of places for you to visit. Take a look at this. It's an old tag. This one's missing, but that's a mocker Nut Hickory. And that's probably one of the biggest mocker Nut Hickories I have ever seen. The mocker nut has this great bark. I love the shagbark hickory too. I'll see if I can find one of those. But it's got this very flat outer surface and these nice steep ridges. Oh, I have a dry throat. All right, we're going to keep going. There's another nice white oak there. The white oaks really stand out because of their nice light-colored bark. Now here's something, we've seen this at a few parks that we've been visiting. This is wineberry. This is an invasive species. It produces a fantastic red, it looks like a red raspberry. Really sweet, flavorful berry, but this is an invasive species and it grows everywhere. Oh, did I say Civil War? Yes, the Revolutionary War. The white oak was a lead into the Revolutionary War, not the Civil War. Take a look at this beautiful little pond here. I think, yes. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's see if I can. I can't tell if you guys can see it or not, but there is a log with a whole bunch of turtles on it. I would say, I don't know, must be 6, 7 turtles out there. They look like really shiny things in the sun. Hopefully you can see that there. All right. Somebody's saying I'm freezing up. Hopefully that's just poor reception here at the park. Sometimes some of these parks are pretty far out away from the cell towers. Now I hear a frog in the pond to my right. Sounds like it could be a green frog. Phragmites, and I've talked about Phragmites in other for freshwater. If allowed and encroach into the pond over time, and would make the pond more and more shallow as we go. Now I just saw some frogs hop small, so these little baby bullfrog right there. I did an episode on the find all the episodes on Meg's Point Nature Center YouTube channel, but the bullfrogs remain as tadpoles for a few years, which means they pretty early in the springtime. They don't have to, they're not coming right from eggs. Someone saying hello from Gillette City. I spent a lot of time in Gillette City as a kid. All right, so that's a little green frog there. So there are lots of frogs. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but as I move along here, there's a lot of movement on the edge of the pond. So fishing in this pond, and it doesn't look very deep, so I'm not sure what you would get. Here's another invasive. So these they were planted as an ornamental, so many times they're near areas, estates, where they would have lots of plantings, and as the estate goes back to woodland, they... All right, there's a little stream that flows under here. Got some more Phragmites. All right, looks like we reconnected. I want to show you back here. We've got some poison ivy. Now I'm going of the trails, but I wanted to do this just to show you the poison ivy that we've got popping up on the banks here. It does have a red leaf. As the season goes on, the leaf is going to turn green. Down at Hammonasset, these will grow 5 feet tall on their own. You can see these are starting to stretch up. They probably will not get up to 5 feet though. But there's a lot of poison ivy in here. Very often when you find poison ivy, you also find jewelweed, which is an antidote for the urushiol oil, which causes... All right, we're back. Now, there's not really a trail that goes down to where those turtles were, so we won't get a very good look at how many turtles there were. There were definitely some painted turtles there. It would be neat if we had some other kinds of turtles, like a spotted turtle, which are actually kind of rare. All right, what we're going to do now, here we've got another beech tree. And here's a very large black birch tree with a poison ivy vine growing up. This is another way that poison ivy grows. It can grow as a vine, climbing a tree. You can see there's a lot of it there. It also looks like there's some and popping up on top of it. It can grow as ground cover, so creeping along the ground, you can see some vines popping up there. And like I mentioned earlier, it can grow as a freestanding shrub in it will grow 5 feet tall all around. All right, this is our some motorcycles coming in. This is the visitor center here at Gillette Castle. I'm going to get across this parking lot as quick as I can. Hopefully everyone is sticking with me here. And this is a fairly new visitor center. This is just a couple years older than the Meg's Point Nature Center, so this is 6 or 8 years old. And we're going to walk down to the castle. Hopefully we're not frozen right now. I'm not seeing any feedback, so I'm not sure if we're still going out live, but We're hoping that we are. I'm going to cut through this little wall. See if we can get to the path over here. I'm not sure if we can or not. There's a great view from here. Let's just swing over and take a look at the view from the visitor center. At its finest. Can't really see the river, but it's an excellent view of the valley. You can see it way off in the distance. If I'm still alive, if somebody could post a comment. Unless we're all frozen up and not. Hopefully you're sticking with me here. We're going to walk down to the castle itself and get a look at the castle. One of the things about this castle, it's got some excellent stonework. The field stone was taken from the area. So when Gillette purchased the park, I think he got 86 acres, something like that. And it is built on one of the, what are known as the Seven Sisters, 7 hills, south-facing hills that are along the side of the Connecticut River. So as you go up the Connecticut River Valley, if you're on this side of the river, you're going up and down hills. Those are the Seven Sisters. The castle is built on one of the Seven Sisters. Most of the woodwork in the castle is southern oak, southern white oak, I believe it was, maybe in red oak, but it's southern oak. It's all hand-hewn, hand-carved. Each of the doors in the castle are different. They were unique and hand-carved. It took 20 men 5 years to construct this castle. So I'm really surprised that just 20 guys worked on this thing and got this beautiful castle. Hopefully we're still broadcasting. Nobody has said anything in quite a while. So, somebody want to tell me if I'm still alive or not? I can't tell. I have a feeling that I'm not live any longer, but we'll just keep going. We're going to come up here. You can see the beautiful stonework. You can also see this arch. This is the train arch. The train would have gone through here. And then up here we've got the old train station. Very cool. I love the stonework, natural wood framing. Wooden shingled roof. Very cool. As we come up here, we can get a look at more of the stonework. So you can see, absolutely medieval looking castle. Looks like something out of a fairy tale. It's got looks very jagged, sharp stones. Gillette lived in his boat, the Aunt Polly, which was anchored down below here. I told you earlier it burned. That's where he lived while the castle was being built. And he took a very hands-on approach designing most of the features within the castle. He designed secret doors and ways that he could observe his guests secretly. All right, this is the view from Gillette Castle. You can see the ferry down there, Connecticut River Ferry. Here comes a crow right past. All right. So back there, that is the train station. The trains would have come in and out of there. All over the property, he had track. Beautiful view of the valley. The Aunt Polly burned and is at the bottom down here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is from this point, but you can see that there's the ferry dock on this side of the river right down there. Now, William Gillette had a groundskeeper. He provided him a home at the bottom of this hill. He did all the gardening, and he left him that home when he passed away. The state acquired the castle from the Gillette family, the estate of the Gillette family, in 1943. And unfortunately, at the time, they sold most of his trains. I think they sold all the trains. Many of the trains went to lake compounds, and they did get a couple of trains back from lake compounds and restored one of them, and it's in the visitor center where we were a few moments ago. I'm going to spin it around and show you the castle itself from this view. You can see the carved wooden windows. The beautiful stonework is everywhere. There's a little solarium-like room here, like a greenhouse coming off the side. So we're going to step back, take a look at the castle. If anyone has any questions, you can post them at any time. I'll be happy to answer them if I can. Now, hopefully in the future, we'll be able to do a tour inside of the castle. I'll reach out to the supervisor here, but they are doing construction on the castle, so I'm not sure how accessible it is on the inside. All right, I'm going to leave you with this view of the Connecticut River. I'm not seeing any questions. Hopefully people are still watching. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow you can watch at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. We'll be doing more live programs. Tomorrow morning at 11 we're going to be looking at a stargazer. It's an amazing fish. It's a fish that carries an electric charge and is a venomous fish. So hopefully I don't get zapped or spiked by it, but it would be really cool to take a look at this fish. That's tomorrow at 11, and then at 2 o'clock we'll be doing another program from the Meggs Point Nature Center. Probably we'll do a story tomorrow afternoon. So thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully everybody got to see everything, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.